Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at some awesome battles in the Open Master League featuring my level 51 Perfect IV Shadow Tyranitar. Tyranitar is, of course, a Dark and Rock type Pokemon with the moveset of Bite, Crunch, and Stone Edge. For the team, I'm running a team popularized by Caleb Peng with my level 40 Mewtwo with Focus Blast on the save switch and level 50 Metagross as the closer. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches and check out my maxed out Perfect IV Shadow Tyranitar in action in the Master League. Hopping to the first match, setting Shadow Tyranitar into Therian Landorus. Even in this bad matchup, look at the amount of damage Shadow Tyranitar is able to do. We are able to switch out as they reach the back-to-back superpowers and catch one onto our Mewtwo, and then the opponent is going to bring in Yveltal. Honestly, this is perfect. I needed to bait out Yveltal, so that way Metagross is going to be able to close in the endgame. Mewtwo will get taken out, but we have a lot of residual energy on Shadow Tyranitar, so even though Bite doesn't generate energy particularly quickly, we are still going to be able to reach a Stone Edge, and Stone Edge will take out Yveltal. Back in comes Therian Landorus, and Therian Landorus may get close to a second superpower here, and I do not want to let that happen. So I'm going to bring in the Metagross because I would much rather take the damage here. Metagross can easily tank the debuff superpower. We're able to take out Landorus, and it is their own Mewtwo in the back. A Mewtwo with 2 shields is pretty scary, but we did keep our Shadow Tyranitar, and Shadow Tyranitar is an absolute destroyer of Mewtwo. So at this point, I'm just going to save my shields for Shadow Tyranitar, and I'm going to let the magic happen. They go for the Focus Blast. Look at the bite damage tearing through Mewtwo. I will commit the shield. It's a Psy Strike. Can they get to the Focus Blast? They cannot, and that is a good game. Hopping to the next match, letting Shadow Tyranitar into Dialga. Despite the type disadvantage, this is actually a good matchup for Shadow Tyranitar due to the massive amount of fast move pressure it's able to do to Dialga. We do, of course, have to shield the Iron Heads, but as you're going to see, Bites actually do more damage than Dragon Breath in this matchup, allowing us to win the 2 shield if we want to. We are going for the Crunch. Crunch takes out the Dialga, and they bring in Ho-Oh. I'm going to stay in here and keep farming because they cannot farm down. They realize it, they bank a move, and they bring in Zekrom to take down Tyranitar. I'm going for the Crunch. This will do some solid damage or grab a shield, and then I'm going to bring in Metagross. At all costs, I have to keep the Metagross away from Ho-Oh, so I'm basically just going to use it here. They have Crunch, which will do a lot of damage, but I do have access to Earthquake. I'm going to build up to the Earthquake and go for the Meteor Mash bait, expecting a shield, because I think I can reach another Meteor Mash. They get worried and they decide to throw a move, and honestly, that is perfect. I'm just going to let the Metagross get taken out, and in comes Mewtwo, going for the Psy Strike. Opponent catches onto Ho-Oh. This is not going to KO, but they are 1 Incinerate off 100 energy, so I throw 2 Psycho Cuts, and we're able to catch back onto the Shadow Tyranitar. That is huge. I'm not going to be able to Psycho Cut down before they reach a move, but the nice thing here is that I'm going to be able to leave with the Psy Strike loaded, and I believe Zekrom is in Psy Strike range, even from a level 40 Mewtwo. Moment of truth. Is it enough damage? Yes, it is, and that is a good game. Hopping to the next match, so Shadow Tyranitar into Zacian. Absolutely terrible lead, going to need to immediately save switch into Mewtwo. The opponent does stutter there for a little bit, and then they're going to be throwing some energy. I do tank any 1 charge move, so I am going to let it through. It's a wild charge. They bring in Dialga, and I am full sending the Focus Blast. Do they respect it? They do not. Taking out Dialga and winning switch advantage. But Mewtwo is not done. It may only be level 40, but it is putting in a ton of work in level 50 Masters. Taking down Dialga and able to get a shield from Zacian. In comes Metagross. We will have to shield up 1 of these moves because Zacian does have back-to-back, and double close combat should just about take me out. So I will commit the shield on the second. The question is, what is that final Pokemon? I'm farming up. They go for a catch, and they have Mewtwo in the back, and this is a happy Shadow Tyranitar. At this point, I don't need the T-Tar anymore. I'm just going to let it through. They Focus Blast me, but that is okay. They're not going to be able to reach another Focus Blast. This is only a double resisted Psy Strike. I tank this no problem, farm down, and we leave with the double Meteor Mash. So we are going to be able to take out the Zacian despite the absolutely terrible lead. Mewtwo able to flip switch. and that is a good game. Hopping to the next match, leading Shadow Tyranitar into Mewtwo, the absolute dream lead. Opponent is going to save switch into a Zacian, and we have the perfect response in Metagross. Things could not be going much better in this battle. Since I will have to commit a shield to maintain switch, I may as well force one of my opponent's shields, so I will go for the Meteor Mash. I am easily able to tank the first. They actually bait with a Play Rough because they do not want to lower their defense just yet. We are able to get a Bullet Punch through because they throw an alignment, and since they're one off, I should be able to farm down, and they're not able to reach the second Wild Charge. That is very nice. We are absolutely loaded on energy, and their final Pokemon is Excadrill. I'm going straight for the Earthquake, and unfortunately, they do respect it. Since I do have switch advantage, this should pretty much be a game over, so I am going to let the drill run through, and then just bring in Mewtwo onto the Excadrill. I will be able to tank one move here, so I don't have to shield this first one. The only thing I have to watch for is a potential catch back onto their Mewtwo. They switch back in, I bank the Focus Blast, and now it is Shadow Tyranitar time. Absolutely tearing through the Mewtwo. I will commit the shield, we shield the Focus Blast, and we're going to be able to farm down. Back in comes the Excadrill, but Excadrill is not going to like this crunch damage. Crunch takes the Excadrill low, we farm down, and that is a good game. Hopping to the next match, leading Shadow Tyranitar into Giratina Origin, another incredible lead. Opponent is going to save switch into a Charm Primarina, and we have a fantastic response in Metagross. Thankfully, Primarina is incredibly slow at getting to charge moves, so I will be able to overfarm quite a bit in this matchup. Meteor Mash will take them out, and I have enough residual energy to reach a move versus the Giratina Origin. The fact that they save switch to Charmer makes me think that this very well could be Giratina Double Charm, and if that's the case, I need to try and do as much damage to the Giratina as possible, because in the 2-shield, Mewtwo doesn't necessarily like to go up against Charmers. Going for the farm down, just not quite able to get it, and their switch clock should be up. They go for the Ominous Wind, and they bring in the final Pokemon, which is Sylveon. Tyranitar is able to reach a crunch, and this should do some nice chip damage or get a shield, and we do get that ever-important shield, and now we can very safely bring in Mewtwo. Mewtwo is, of course, going to dramatically outpace Sylveon, so I just needed to get one of those 2 shields, and then Mewtwo is going to be able to put in work. This Side Strike will not KO, but it will get it deep into the red, and from here, I honestly think that I can Psycho Cut down. Sylveon wanting to get rid of shields, but I still have 2, so I'm more than willing to commit the shield. We farm down, and we're going to be able to Side Strike the Giratina Origin. So only having 1 charm counter, no problem. And that is a good game. Hopping to the next match, leading Shadow Tyranitar into another Dialga. We have seen this play out before, pretty decent matchup for Shadow Tyranitar, so long as I do commit the shields on the Iron Heads. I will of course commit the shield, and then as soon as I get the crunch, I am going to be fishing for that debuff. Going for the crunch. Typically, most Dialgas do like to shield in this situation, which they do, and we get the defense drop. Can we farm down? Yes, we can, and we're able to win the 1 shield. But my happiness is short-lived when they bring in Giratina Origin. I'm going to be able to do a massive amount of bite damage to this Giratina Origin, but if they're able to survive the bites and farm down, which they are, they leave with a ton of energy, and I only have Psychic types remaining. I'm going to bring in Mewtwo and basically just call a bait, but they go straight Shadow Ball, and now it's all up to Metagross, and they reach another move. I'm going to commit the shield. If it's the Shadow Ball, which it is, they can't get to a third, and the final Pokemon is their own Mewtwo. If their Mewtwo is running Shadow Ball, I believe I lose, but any other move, I should be okay. We do land the Meteor Mash. They're farming up a bunch. Moment of truth. What is that second charge move? It's Thunderbolt of all things. We tank that no problem. And that is a good game. Hopping to the next match, so to Shadow Tyranitar into Melmetal. This is not a great lead overall, so I am going to look to try and catch a superpower. I'm going to wait till they farm up to the back-to-back, switch and catch onto Mewtwo. That is huge. That gives Tyranitar an energy lead and wastes some energy from Melmetal, and the opponent is going to bring in Garchomp. I'm going to farm up to 7 to threaten a potential Ice Beam, try and force a shield, but the opponent does not respect it. That is a little unfortunate. I'm going to let this through. It's an Earth Power, and that unfortunately does take out Mewtwo. I'm actually going to bring in Shadow Tyranitar here because I can shield once, farm down, and leave with quite a lot of energy remaining, and I should be able to force a shield from the Melmetal if need be. So I am down a shield, but I have quite a lot of energy. They bring back in Melmetal, and I am going to be going for the crunch. They're not quite at the back-to-back superpowers yet. We get the shield, and it's a CMP tie. We are pretty close to that second crunch, though. And they switch into Togekiss, and I'm a little slow on my switch. This could be costly. They were able to get a charm off on that Tyranitar, and that does quite a lot of damage. I do have a very good response in Metagross, but in the Zero Shield, I'm going to get Flamethrowered, and there is nothing that I can do about it. Can we survive it? We do. Can we get to the Meteor Mash? We cannot, and I'm forced to throw the move into the Togekiss, and Melmetal is almost at another superpower. So at this point, this game is over. Had I switched sooner, may have been a different story. Fantastic lead in the next match, and the opponent is going to safe switch into Dialga. Something that I noticed is I did encounter quite a few teams that were double or even triple weak to Shadow Tyranitar. It doesn't really feel like a Pokemon that a lot of teams account for, so it can really surprise some opponents. I am going to be going for the crunch to try and force a shield. I do want to try and preserve some HP on the Tyranitar, so I am going to get the Dialga into farm down range and bring in Metagross. Metagross will be able to tank whatever they decide to throw here. They go for the Draco Meteor, that is totally fine. We farm down and we leave with a move, and the opponent has Garchomp. Since we have a big energy lead, we should be able to reach back-to-back Meteor Mashes if they try and farm down. They shield up the first. They do go for the farm down, and we're able to get the second Meteor Mash. Meteor Mash does quite a lot of damage. They will leave with a lot of energy, but they're very low on health. I'm going to bring in Mewtwo, and I should be able to tank one. They go for the Earth Power. That does quite a lot of damage, but we are able to hold on, and we're able to reach a Psystrike. This will be taking out the Garchomp, and now it is Shadow Tyranitar time. Opponent sees the writing on the wall and concedes the match. Hopping to the next match, so the Shadow Tyranitar into yet another Dialga. We have seen this matchup play out a couple times. If we don't get the debuff, we do lose the one shield, but sometimes what I do like to do is actually catch the second Iron Head onto the Metagross if we do not get the debuff. So I am going to be going for the crunch as soon as we get there, expecting a shield, and we do get it. We do not get the defense drop, so when they get low, I am going to bring in the Metagross and catch the Iron Head. That is fantastic. We're able to save the Tyranitar for later in the match, and that ends up being a very good thing because they do have Mewtwo. Unfortunately, I do lose CMP, and it's the Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball will take me out. But now, I can commit one shield and fully farm down with Shadow Tyranitar. That way, I'm going to be able to leave with a move for whatever the opponent has in the back. Dialga would get instantly bitten down, so they will have to bring in their third. The question is, what is it? And it is Zacian. I'm going straight for the Stone Edge. This will do big damage if it connects. They commit the shield, and now I bring in Mewtwo. This should only be a wild charge, so all I have to do is not let my Psystrike get caught, and this is a win. They go for the catch, and that is a good game. Hopping to the final match, letting Shadow Tyranitar into Zacian, a terrible lead. Going to instantly save switch into my Mewtwo. Zacian is staying in, and here I throw on terrible timing and I allow the opponent to sneak through an extra fast move. That is really unfortunate. They bank all the energy and they bring in Giratina Origin. I will farm up to 7 to threaten a potential Shadow Ball, and my bluff works as I'm able to get a shield. They keep over farming, so I'm going to go for a second Psystrike. This will not KO, but will do a lot of damage onto Giratina, and it ends up being a CMP tie. That is fantastic. They go for the Ominous Wind. They end up undercharging it. Android Game Booster accidentally triggers as well. So there is just a lot going on in this match. From here, I can just shield nothing and farm down because Giratina Origin cannot touch Tyranitar. We know they have energy loaded on Zacian, so I am going to look to immediately switch into Metagross. We bring in Metagross, and we are able to catch the move. This Wild Charge does a decent amount of damage, not a whole ton, and the final Pokemon in the back is revealed to be Mewtwo. With that small energy lead, we're able to outpace them, get to a Meteor Mash, and it connects. Since we sneak through the Bullet Punch, they're not going to be able to bait and get to a hard-hitting move. So I do commit the shield. It is the Shadow Ball, and now we should be in a very good spot going up against this Zacian. Going for the Meteor Mash, able to get the shield. Switch Clock will come up, going for the catch, and that is a good game. All in all, Shadow Tyranitar is an absolute monster in the Open Master League. The current Open Master League meta very heavily features a lot of Mewtwo, Dialga, and both Giratinas, all of which Shadow Tyranitar has very nice matchups against. As Pokemon like Kyogre come into raids and we start seeing more level 50s, that could hurt Shadow Tyranitar's stock in the long run, but at the current moment, it felt like an incredibly potent pick for the Open Master League. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you, as always, to our members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is absolutely incredible. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.